Hi class, welcome back. So today again we will see one more approach to essay, how to write body. So till now we have seen four approaches. First was we can write any essay by commenting on different perspective, different dimensions, political, historical, international, etc. dimension. Then we have seen second approach where we have to write any essay in terms of chronology, in terms of evolution of time. Then we have seen third approach in which we can write any essay based on different perspective on the basis of different schools of thought, realism, liberalism, feminism, socialism, etc. Then we saw that we can write any essay on the basis of micro analysis to macro analysis. So today we are going to see our fifth approach. So this approach is very simple. In this approach, simply you have to discuss different stakeholders. किसी भी टॉपिक को आपको लेना है और उस टॉपिक के जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स आपको ध्यान में आ रहे हैं उन सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स को आप लिख दीजिए योर आंसर इज कंप्लीट. यू टेक एनी एग्जांपल. से फॉर एग्जांपल देयर इज एन एसे India US relationship challenges. This is a simple topic, India US relationship challenges. Now how we can write this essay? We can write this essay simply by giving one paragraph to one stakeholders. India US का relationship में जितने भी stakeholders हैं, जो decision makers है या फिर उन decision से effect होने वाले हैं, उन सभी पे एक एक पैराग्राफ आप दीजिए और आपका आंसर खत्म हो जाएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल India-US relationship challenges, okay, or strength or weakness, whatever the topic is around India-US relationship. Then we can discuss first stakeholder. Who is the first stakeholder? It's obviously the government. In that we can discuss relationship between Donald Trump and Narendra Modi. We can discuss relationship between Manmohan Singh and Obama. So in this way we can write how some adventures of Donald Trump or how some threatening speeches of Donald Trump affected our relationship and how it is creating a kind of challenge, or how Narendra Modi reacted to the stand of America. In this way you can write one stakeholder, that is government. Then who can be the second stakeholder? Second stakeholder can obviously be people of India and people of US. Take the example of 2008. So in 2008 India and US, both countries were supposed to sign Indo-US civil nuclear deal, fine. But that civil nuclear deal was facing lot of challenge, especially from some of the coalition partners in India only. लेकिन उस केस में जो यूएस में जो सिटीजन्स रहते हैं, इंडियन ओरिजिन के सिटीजन्स रहते हैं, उन लोगों ने एक तरह से ऊपर बहुत बड़ी एक लॉबी क्रिएट की. दे क्रिएटेड अ लॉबी एंड दे created a kind of pressure over the US government, and they played a key role in signing of Indo-US civil nuclear deal. So now government is one stakeholder, people, they are again second stakeholder. We can take example of third stakeholder. Who can be third stakeholder in India-US relationship? Third stakeholder can be corporate groups, private sectors, because it's all about business to business relationship. So private players, they also play a leading role. Then we can take the example of media. Media also play a leading role in creating a relationship between two countries. For example, India-Pakistan, media is a key factor. Similarly, in India-US, media is a key factor. Then we can discuss other stakeholders. We can discuss some think tanks who publish reports on relationship between India and US. That is also a stakeholder. We can discuss साइंटिस्ट ऑल्सो, फाइन. सो इंडिया और यूएस के बीच में जो टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिलेशनशिप है वो भी एक स्टेक होल्डर है. वी कैन डिस्कस हियर रशिया एंड अदर कंट्रीज ऑल्सो, लाइक रशिया, चाइना और पाकिस्तान एज अ फैक्टर between relationship of India and US. So in this way we can see that we can discuss different stakeholders, and we are going to give one paragraph to one stakeholders, and then we can wind up the essay. So recall my first class, or I guess second class, when I was discussing salient features of an ideal essay. There I told you that whenever we are writing an essay, we should not miss any stakeholder. So I gave you the example of working women, that we should bring into board even prostitutes, domestic maids and all. So here in this particular strategy, this particular approach, we just discuss all the stakeholders. We give role, we discuss the functions of each stakeholders, and our job is over. In India-US relationship, For example, you can discuss one more stakeholder, international institutions, so role played by United Nations, or we can discuss here institutions like Ministry of External Affairs, we can discuss institutions like European Union, so they are also key players in the decision making of India-US relationship. In corporate, you can discuss the corporate sectors who are involved in pharmaceutical business or arms trade, they are also very important factors there. Fine. So let us see one example. Destiny of a nation is shaped in its classroom. So this is our essay topic. Destiny of nation, और वो shape कहाँ होता है? Classroom में होता है. Basically, the crux of this topic is that education is important to shape the destiny of a nation. So we are going to solve this question from which strategy? From approach number 5. That is, we are going to discuss different stakeholders. Let us just have a quick recap that can we solve this question from previous approaches. Obviously, for example, approach number 1, just start discussing education system in different perspective. Political perspective of education system, social perspective, economical perspective. We can also discuss education system from our second approach. What was the second approach? We start from evolution, all right? So how education system of India has changed from British era to Nehru era to contemporary period. We can also approach this question from our third strategy. We start discussing from microscopic level to macroscopic level. First discuss education at family, education at a school, higher education, technical education, then universal or research-based education. We can solve this question by using our approach of different schools. So how Marxist see education system, how liberal view education system, what was the view of Gandhian school of philosophy for education system, how feminist will see education system. So we can solve this question from our previous 4 approaches also, but let us see how we are going to solve this question from this approach, that is discuss different stakeholders. Obviously, the first stakeholder of education will be constitution. So constitution is a very significant stakeholder whenever we discuss education system. So when we say constitution, then here we can discuss different articles or different schedule given in our constitution system related to education. For example, article 21, which gives what? Right to education. Then we can discuss article 45, directive principles of the state policy, which directs for early care of children. Then we can discuss article 14 and 15, which promotes what? Equality, and at the same time it stops any kind of discrimination in education system. Then we can discuss schedule 7 also, which says that education is a concurrent part. Okay, means both state and central government, they can make laws on education. Then we can discuss different philosophers, preachers, thinkers related to education. So here we can discuss Kalam. How come Kalam? Because APJ Abdul Kalam gave a very famous statement that we can make thousands of laws to stop corruption, but corruption can be stopped only by 3 people, that is Ma and teacher of a primary school. So basically Kalam wanted to say that role of a teacher is very important for a nation, because for nation we want good citizens or we want good officers. So value system should be instilled during childhood only, and there teacher has a very important role. So Kalam said that जितने भी लॉज बना लो, कुछ भी बना लो, करप्शन नहीं रुकेगा जब तक जो है टीचर नहीं चाहे या फिर माँ बाप नहीं चाहे. So if we can quote Kalam here, we can quote Gandhi also. So Gandhi gave in fact a very comprehensive teaching on education, and his comprehensive education system was known as Nayi Talim. So what is Nayi Talim? Nayi Talim, that means it was a way to transform a man. एक किसी आदमी को पूरा ट्रांसफॉर्म करना है. It's a kind of social revolution. So there education, the role of education is very important. So you can link the statement of Gandhi on how education is important for destiny of a nation. Then we can discuss Ambedkar. So Ambedkar said social democracy should come before political democracy. So it doesn't matter आप किसी कंट्री में जितने फंडामेंटल राइट्स दे दो, आप जितने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना लो, बट करप्शन या सॉरी नॉट करप्शन, social discrimination, this will end only and only when society is prepared for that. So social democracy should come before political democracy. Now how social democracy will come? social democracy will come through the mode of education. So during education system, when we will give space to all the caste, all the privileged caste also, and all the disadvantaged caste, दोनों एक साथ बैठेंगे, सोशल हार्मनी बनेगी, तभी जाकर के दैट विल प्रिपेयर अ काइंड ऑफ ग्राउंड फॉर पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम. Then we can discuss Plato also. So Plato also gave an education system. So the crux of theory of Plato is that whenever we want any kind of change, if we want good politicians, good ruler, then that can happen only through the mode of education system. All right. So Phule, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, again he is very well known and who believed that education is very important in ending social discrimination. So you can see for education, first we can discuss in one paragraph on constitution, then we can give one paragraph to philosophers and thinkers. Then teachers. Teachers are obviously one of the major stakeholders. So teachers are very important, a very important institution. Why they are very important institution? Because they are someone who instill value system. Fine. So बचपन से ही बच्चों के अंदर में वैल्यू सिस्टम डालने के लिए, उनको कई सारी चीज़ें सिखाने के लिए, इमोशनल लेसन देने के लिए, साइकोलॉजिकल एक तरह से उनके साथ साइकोलॉजिकल चीज़ें शेयर करना. आप देख सकते हैं स्कूल में कई सारे टीचर्स साइकोलॉजिस्ट का रोल प्ले करते हैं. अब तो कई सारे स्कूल्स में एक सेपरेट साइकोलॉजिस्ट होते हैं. फाइन. सो दे आर लाइक अर्ली मेंटर. सो व्हेन स्टूडेंट्स दे want some kind of advice regarding career, some kind of advice regarding moral dilemma, ethical dilemma, then obviously they go to their teacher, and that's why role of teacher is very important. Teachers किस तरह की वैल्यू सिस्टम बचपन से इंस्टिल करते हैं, वही जाकर के लास्ट में क्या डिसाइड करेगा अपना आगे जाकर के फ्यूचर ऑफ नेशन. देन पेरेंट्स एंड फैमिलीज. ऑब्वियसली पेरेंट्स एंड फैमिलीज, दे आर अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Why they are important and why are we discussing parents and families in education system or classroom? Again, I told you in the first class itself that the topic in essay, topic interpretation of topic is very important. So we are discussing here classroom. Classroom, that means education system. So जहाँ से भी आपको education system मिलता है, that will become part of our topic. So parents and families, they are very important in many kinds of values in education, the process of education. They are important in providing emotional support. They are important in providing socialization. So socialization में बहुत important है. कोई बच्चा किसी X रिलीजन का है और किसी Y रिलीजन के यहाँ पर फेस्टिवल हो रहा है, सो फैमिली से इंस्पायर करती है कि वहाँ जाना है, या फैमिली ही प्रोहिबिट करती है कि वहाँ पर नहीं जाना है. सो आपने देखा होगा कोई सिविल सर्वेंट है, उसकी फैमिली पूरी की पूरी फैमिली सिविल सर्वेंट्स है. आर्मी वाले पूरे आर्मी, घर वाले आर्मी में है. करप्ट पॉलिटिशियंस अगर है तो घर में सब कोई क्या है, करप्ट ही निकल रहे हैं. सो फैमिली एज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, विच बेसिकली fills the gap. What kind of gap? The gap which we realize from school system and the society. So स्कूल में मान लीजिए किसी बच्चे को कोई चीज़ पढ़ाई गई और स्कूल में ऐसी चीज़ पढ़ाई गई जिसको लेकर के उस बच्चे के दिमाग में एक तरह से मोरल और एथिकल डिलेमा आ गया, और सोसाइटी ने भी कुछ ऐसा बोल दिया कि उसके मन में मोरल एथिकल डिलेमा आ गया. तो इट्स द रोल ऑफ फैमिली विच फिल्स द गैप. फाइन. फॉर एग्जाम्पल स्कूल में पढ़ाया गया इक्वालिटी शुड बी देयर, आर्टिकल 14 पढ़ाया गया स्कूल में, बट वो बच्चा सोसाइटी में गया तो सोसाइटी में पढ़ाया गया डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, दैट देयर इज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कास्ट, लैंग्वेज और रिलीजन. So it's a family which has to play a very important role in filling this gap to deal with this ethical dilemma. All right. Then government. Government is obviously a very important and significant player in education. So recently, Narendra Modi government, it brought new education policy. New education policy was previously also made by previous government. So when Nehru came into picture, Nehru, after independence, initiated lot of institutions, right? He laid foundation of many world-class institutions which we see today. So again, research support government is very important. So recently, Narendra Modi government has also came with a scheme to initiate a kind of research culture in school itself. We call it Atal Labs. All right. multiple government schemes are there by government which supports education system, beti bachao beti padhao, all right. Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan is there, lot of schemes are there. Then institutions, obviously institutions, they also play a very important role. So institutions like, we can take the example of UGC, AICT, these are important institutions. We can take the example of boards. So the boards which conduct multiple examinations, NTA, National Testing Agency, that's an example, all right. Then we have different institutions like the institutions which are important for enforcement of laws like right to education. So Ministry of Education, Education Department in each state government, so they have a role in education system. Then we can discuss here society and community. Obviously, just now we have discussed that society gave us multiple dose of value system, right? So discrimination, equality, social harmony, social disharmony, communalism, secularism, ये सारी चीज़ें कहाँ से आती है? सोसाइटी रहती है. Mid day meal is a good example. So since you people are students of UPSC, you might have read about a question which appeared in ethics paper, that there is a school and there is a Dalit cook and students have refused to take food from that Dalit cook. So what you as an administrator, as a district collector, what step you are going to take to tackle that situation? So ultimately society is very important. If society promotes a kind of discrimination, if society promotes bad value system, then that ultimately affects the education system also, or we can say informal education system also, and that is ultimately a kind of threat to destiny of a nation. Then private parties and corporates, they also play an important role in the education system. Take the example of CSR, corporate social responsibility, which funds many schools, colleges in our country. Ajim Premji Foundation, again Ajim Premji Foundation runs multiple colleges, multiple universities in our country. So that's a good example. For research, private parties are very important. So recently they played a very significant role in the research of COVID vaccine. They are also playing significant role in space technology, research on space technology, startups and all, which provides basically a kind of initial support system to educational. So IITs वगैरह में आप देखेंगे कि बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टार्टअप्स हैं जो कि IITians ने स्टार्ट किए. अब वो स्टार्टअप्स एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट्स को सपोर्ट भी कर रहे हैं in terms of finance, in terms of stipends and all. So they are also different stakeholder. And then at last, informal classrooms. So what is informal classrooms? Classrooms like eco clubs, okay, some professional club, happy club, ISKCON temple club, that's also an example, or some kind of religious groups, debate club. So इस तरह की चीज़ें भी क्या करती है, एजुकेशन को क्या करती है, इंस्टिल करती है. So we can see that we have written lot of things on education system simply by taking all the stakeholders into picture. So in this strategy, your intelligence will work in the area of bringing different stakeholders. आपके intelligence में कितने stakeholders आ सकते हैं, वो आपको, for example say we are discussing say AI. So AI में stakeholder आपने scientist को discuss कर दिया, that's okay. You discussed businessman, that's also okay. But when we are discussing AI, then you should also bring the stakeholders which are not very popular. Fine. So in AI we can discuss people of rural India. Rural India में जो लोग रहते हैं, how come they are stakeholders? They are, even though they are not any stakeholders in decision making, then they are stakeholders because they are getting affected from AI. All right. So why am I discussing people from rural India in AI? Because AI, what is AI? AI लोगों ने बनाया किस तरह से है, मतलब जो सोसाइटी में है, जो कंट्री में है, उन जो ह्यूमन लाइफ में है, उन सबको उठा करके जो पैकेजिंग होता है, उसने AI को जो क्या कर दिया, एक फॉर्मेट कर दिया, यानी कि एग्जिस्टिंग नॉलेज सिस्टम से बनाया. लेकिन ये भी डिस्कशन का पार्ट हो रहा है कि AI का जो नॉलेज सिस्टम है, knowledge system has not taken many features which exist in our society, especially the features which exist in disadvantaged class, or the features which exist in socially excluded part of our society. So that should also be into their picture. All right. So in this way we can solve essay paper by using this strategy of discussing different multiple stakeholders. In the next class, we will see the next approach. Thank you.